London Reels. Way better idea. Sponsored by Xbrain. Every day I come into the studio, there's literally a million things to do. Whether it's booking a guest, taping a show, editing an episode, or trying to pitch that future sponsor. It's hard to know where to begin. So I took a tip from Martin Bjerregaard, our former guest, and I create a today list. It's not a to-do list, but it's those 3 things that you want to get done today. The ones you've been putting off, the phone calls you know you have to make. I focus on those, and I usually find I have a productive one. I hope that works for you. Today's Way Better Idea is brought to you by the guys at Xbrain. If you want to check out their grass-fed, free-range protein powder, you can go to xbrain.co.uk or click on the link below and get 15% off. Use the code LondonReal. Peace.
You know, it's proving to be a difficult task because there is a bit of me that wants to kind of rattle a cage and go, you know, and of course that is the wrong energy.
Yeah.
And so I just need to be the change and try and hope that whatever I can try and be in my own journey can emanate in some way. But of course we forget that I have the indigenous people, you know, and it's not about using them because of course that would be wrong, but it's about being with them and sharing them and asking their advice and seeing if in some way we can learn from just their way of being.
They must be happier than most people in London or England. Like, you must notice that these people live this way and they're incredibly happier and more secure than most people in the Western world. So there must be something we can learn from them. As much as we want to shun their lifestyle, there must be so much we can learn from them.
I tend to agree, but it's like you end up getting really, really, really bogged down in very difficult territory because we're projecting. You know, are they happy when they have like child mortality rates, when they have all this and disease? You know, so for us to just say those things, which in fact is within me, I do feel that there is something about them that is very, very, very beautiful that we could learn. Yeah. But at the same time, we have to remember as well that they're humans and they have lots of problems and they have their own history, and you know, all our projections are very dangerous. But at the same time, you know, I do get people coming up to me all the time. It's like, my kids are surrounded by the most expensive toys. I buy them every week, and then I watch your program, and there's this child who's got absolutely nothing, and he's the happiest kid in the world, and they can't figure it out. And so I'm like, well, actually, there is a reason, and I've kind of, you know, I've been studying this, and I'd love to tell you, but how do I go about doing that?
Yeah, you have to get the message right.
Yes.
Without offending them.
It actually reminds me a little bit, maybe you could tell me if this is different, like the first time you try ayahuasca, and you opened up to all this realm of emotions, you explore yourself, and a lot of people will go out in the next few weeks and tell everybody that they should do it. It will fix your problems, it'll fix your problems, it'll fix your problems. And maybe that's similar to the revelations you've had, and that's the wrong way because now you're projecting kind of your own energy out. And as you live with that over time, then you realize that people will find that path as they will find it. It's okay to talk about it, but then there's a fine line between preaching and educating, right?
Totally. And not alienating as well. I mean, it's very easy for us to go on our privileged trips and then sort of turn your back a little bit on the place that you were before, and you make it your shadow because it's like, actually, I'm a bit ashamed of the fact that I used to be this party, drug taking, whatever, and you turn your back on it because you need to move away from it, but you're shunning all of those people, and that's part of your audience. It's part of, you know, they're the ones you need to talk to, but by the mere fact that you kind of have moved away, it alienates. And so all of these are very, very difficult things to get right when we're being seen on our journeys, and to try and get the language right, to get the energy right is a very difficult thing.
How's it going?
Not, you know, it's having its problems.
It should be a struggle. It's like Apocalypse Now. If you look at the making of that movie, it was just a struggle for like years and years, and Coppola didn't know how he was going to finish it, and Brando showed up all big and fat, and he's like, I don't know how I'm going to film this movie, and that made it beautiful because it was a struggle. Any great thing.
Well, we're all, struggle. Thank you. Yeah, well, you know, I'm working with the most amazing team. And also it's really interesting is that we're seeing that the differences between us in the team, we all have the same vision, which is brilliant, but we do see things differently, and we do receive information differently. You know, some of us is all show and not tell, and me is all like tell and not show. And, you know, I'm trying to merge those different methodologies into the creative process is really exciting.
You have a tendency probably to constantly narrate because that's your background, because you were the only voice when you're in Tribe. You're like, I have to tell these people what's going on because we could only see so much.
But also I'm the sort of guy I like reading textbooks. You know, I will watch documentaries, and other people prefer to get their information from a story. Others prefer to just feel it through watching imagery. You know, some people can go and sit in front of a Rothko and cry. I look at a bunch of paint on the wall. I don't feel it in the same way, and we're all receiving information very differently. And yet, to try and merge all of those into one creative media output is not easy. But if we can do that, that's be really special.
This week, London Real presents Adam Scorgi, the producer of The Union, the business of getting high.
Stop. Watch The Union, then we'll have a rational discussion. But don't argue with me until you've learned some facts.
Marijuana is just a weed, and marijuana is worth more ounce for ounce than gold.
You're the pot guys, right? We did a pot film, right, that was thought-provoking and entertaining, but that doesn't make us pot guys.
Now he brings you the culture high.
Things don't add up, they don't work. We can't just keep banging our head against a brick wall and expecting it to change. We have to start looking at alternative models. What those are, who knows?
The Culture High is the documentary that will tear into the very fiber of the longest fought war of our time.
This Sunday, London Real presents Adam Scorgi, the culture high.
The only thing that really seems to make sense is that none of this makes any sense.